transforming intensity. But what if the real edge isn't pushing harder? Today, we're exposing morning empathy as your competitive advantage. Today, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. Missed the button. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where we don't just build better leaders. No way, baby. We build deeper understandings of the leaders around us. I'm Keith Bilous. I'm your host. And if you're here for basic leadership tips and advice, go change the channel. Yeah, wrong channel. That's the one over there. That's the boring podcast that was recorded a few weeks ago in the closet with all those boring hosts. No, you're hanging out with myself, CMartyFit, Jon Andersen, and of course, producer Flynn and producer Jimmy, giving you guys some energy to start your day. Hey, listen, quick warning for the parents. Yep. Oh, yeah. We keep it raw. Jon Andersen's known to drop some those questionable words that we want to kind of throw out there. So, hey, listen, you just might want to grab the earphones or the plugs. Put the plugs in the kids' ears. Put your fingers in the kids' ears. Plug them up, because today we're diving into something that might make you uncomfortable. Hey, it might make the kids uncomfortable. The power of morning empathy. And before you roll your eyes thinking, what the hell's this guy talking about? Yeah, this whole feel-good session. Watch how that assumption will cost you. You're sitting back listening, going, yeah, I'm judging the book by its cover. Oh, yeah, keep tuning in. Keep listening. Keep judging. Keep motherfucking judging. Yeah. And then you keep listening to what we're going to... If you missed yesterday's show, we invited conversation that doesn't happen anywhere else on the planet. We talked about things that guys are talking about over there going, oh yeah, those are good things. No, we talk about safe spaces for the men here in the lab. And of course, I'm joined here by Jon Andersen, CMartyFit. These guys understand that real strength, it's not about lifting heavy. No, it's about lifting others. And you know where it starts, nation? It starts right here. And then it goes right here. And then it goes right here. So producer Kristina Flynn's also here to make sure we don't completely derail everything. Nope. Jimmy's in the back pressing buttons. And Felix, he's getting his fingers ready to cut the show up when we are done. Coming up today, we're kicking things off with the morning loop, 12 unpredictable minutes. We're going to dig into Marty's day yesterday. Marty had a big-ass day yesterday. Our brother, Christopher Martin, had an awesome day yesterday. We're looking forward to catching up with how Marty's day went yesterday. And, of course, we got the In the Gym segment coming. We're going to switch things around a little bit this morning. In the Gym's coming up instead of the center stage segment. And, of course, we got Adam House joining us for a deep dive, showing us how morning empathy helps you overcome business pitfalls. And I got to tell you, I was hanging out with Adam and the gang yesterday at the House of Bricks. Nation, if you run business, you want to join an incredible business community, the community that helps elevate you on the business side of things, you got to go check out Adam's business with the House of Bricks, doing some really great things. And of course, AJ Zeglin's joining us here later today for Mind Fuel, breaking down how empathy transforms blind spots into breakthrough moments. And like I said, you're tuning in right now going, who's this guy with the fucking black hat and the sunglasses on talking about all this crazy empathy shit? Yeah. Because it all starts there. Being a great leader starts with empathy first. And on a day like today, where there's a lot of questions happening in the United States of America, and we're not a political show. Nope, not a political show. But we're here to offer a different point of view on things. Maybe today, just maybe today, when you're talking to your colleague over there, or your colleague over there, or your colleague over there, you're going to forget what color they're wearing. And you're simply going to engage from a position of empathy and curiosity. Let me remind you, policy, who the fuck cares about policy? Policy divides us. Humans connect us. Lean into the human, lean into the empathy, lean into what matters most to you. Don't be afraid of what others are thinking. Don't be afraid of what others are doing. Look at your heart. Be empathetic. That's where we want to lean into and drive today's conversation, because nation, there's going to be a lot of shit coming up your head today. Think about where we are focusing on today is the power of empathy. Listen, two major announcements before we dive into today's show. Hey, we are on November 4th. Yes, it's election day, but today's the day. Oh, hey, here's a good tee up. Today's the great day you can finally say no to something so you can say yes to a bunch of great shit. So if you're sitting back going, I'm tired of all this negative energy for the last 10 years, say no to it. Say no to it and make a yes decision. Maybe you're tired of how you're feeling. Say no to it. Make a yes decision. The time right now as you're listening to me is to ask yourself, what can I say no to so I can say yes? I've been there. I went through divorce in my life. I had to get my shit settled up. I had to say no to plenty of things so I could achieve my big, most audacious goal in life. And what we have all to the League of Business Athletes, 110 men to help you guys get your life for shit together. Of course, leading with empathy. But hey, before we keep rolling here, let's move the attention to over here, and we're going to bring on the crew. The crew. We got Marty in yellow. We got Johnny in black. We got Kristina in black, and I'm in black. What's
happening?
How are you guys today?
I'm feeling an energy.
I'm feeling swell today. Feeling swell.
I got the baby deer legs right now. I knocked out 1,000 bodyweight squats before the show.
Hold the fucking horses, man. Hold on. So you got up, you didn't do the rebounder. How many, Johnny? How many?
I'm in a hotel, so I'm trying to, when I'm bouncing around, I'm just trying to be thoughtful of Terry. She's in the next room. So, our house, when we're in a house, there's a little separation there. So if I just plant my feet and start going to work, that's a little easier for, the consideration of my lovely, beloved wife.
Well, that's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you.
And I felt like I needed something to really challenge myself.
There you go.
I woke up feeling like, I need a little more.
Yeah. That's good. That's awesome. So Marty, I'm eager to chat with you today. So Nation, Marty had a big, massive day yesterday. Marty's embarking on a new journey in his life. He's not leaving us. Nope, Marty's not leaving us. Marty's still around, but Marty's a busy guy. He's a business dude. He's an entrepreneur. He's a finished. He's doing a lot of great things to move his life forward. And one of those great things is he's adopted a brand new role with, can I say it, Marty? Gold's Gym.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Marty's a brand new general manager.
Whether you could or not.
Yeah, so Marty's a brand new general manager of Gold's Gym over in the Maryland area, Baltimore area, and
Virginia and DC area.
DC
area, yeah.
Yesterday was his first day. How did it go, Marty? It
was pretty good, man. It wasn't, just a lot of onboarding stuff. I didn't really do anything.
Yeah, did you walk in with shoulders out and chest out? You're like, yeah, I'm here. I've arrived. The boys arrived.
Well, I did that Saturday.
Oh, yes.
I did that Saturday, yeah. Yeah. It's like a gym with full of old people. No offense, it's not like a lot going on. It's very easy, very manageable. So they actually might transfer me to a more popular gym, but
really
they're just kind of getting my feet wet. Yeah, there's a lot of old people. I mean, a lot of insurance members.
Like Keith and John old?
Like they got the insurance plan. They got classes for the insurance plan. It's just. Not what I'm used to in the gym. Plan. Yeah,
classes for the insurance plan.
Yes,
is that what you said?
That's exactly what I. That's exactly
wow.
it.
Man, that's Jesus Christ.
But
sounds like you're managing a goddamn old folks home. Hell, let's get you in some action, baby.
Yeah, so we're just gonna wait it out. Yeah,
I would love to see that.
But bro, that'll be a great place to kind of get the groove and understand what to do. So when you move into that faster pace, that faster current, it'll be like old news,
Exactly. So I'm thankful for it.
That's perfect.
What was the highlight of the day yesterday, Marty?
You really want to know my highlight of the day? I told you the highlight of the day, Keith.
I do, man. I want to know the highlights.
All right. Tina, get ready for the John voice. All right. I had a long fucking day. All right. Working long hours. I didn't get my lift in. It was the first day, so I had to lift at night. So Keith's texting me at 9:00 at night. I told him where I'm at. I'm still going to enjoy my loop and get my workout in. It doesn't matter what time of the loop as long as I get the fucking workout in the loop. Rock and roll.
I love it. Rock and roll. I was sitting on my couch texting Marty last night, and I'm howling. I'm sitting here and I'm hearing Jon's voice. I'm seeing Marty in the gym just deliver it, and I can see him, Kristina, and then I can see Marty said it and then fucking laughing about it because I love how Marty laughs.
I was cracking up when I texted you.
I was just fucking howling at you texting it and sending it. I thought that was a pretty good thing, man. So that's good. That's good. So what's on the agenda today with the gym there, Marty?
I got my first meeting with the team.
Yeah.
And
whoa.
Yeah. So now I'm going to be on my own today. I was with like the VP yesterday.
Nice.
So now I'm going to do some stuff on my own. We'll see how it goes.
Nice.
How you feeling about that? How you feeling about the meeting with the team?
Come on, man. I meet with this team every day, so I'm not intimidated by any other team. This is the best team out.
I love that. And if you can handle this team,
his other one's got to handle
anything.
Exactly.
Speaking of best team, I want to publicly acknowledge something that I shared with you guys, through a chat that we had yesterday privately going on here. There's somebody who's good morning, Soyoung. I see you there, and good morning, Mr. Duggan. I see you,
Jack.
Yes, Jack, Jon, Duggan, Johnny, Marty, Kristina. We have a fan, super fan's been hanging out with us for a number of months. And Marty, I think, did Jon Jack find us? I think he found our show, right? When you and I are hanging out?
He found us,
yeah, exactly. So I've been getting to know him on LinkedIn. And motherfuckers, I am inspired.
What you got?
The dude's lost 40 pounds since he has started hanging out with us. Not one, Johnny, not five, Marty, not 10, Kristina.
That's for real?
For real. And he's just getting started. And Johnny, Marty, he's celebrating his 40th birthday in March of next year.
Let's go, Jack.
Come on, man.
I know.
Come on, man.
He's like, you guys have been instrumental in helping me achieve my goals. I tune in every day to your show. You guys are delivering it. Jack, I'm sorry, Jon, I'm paraphrasing your message. I know you don't mind me sharing it.
Get it, baby. Get it.
He's telling us, Johnny, Marty, Kristina, how he gets up, he's inspired. He's like, I love the fact you guys are giving us different things to talk about that are positive, that are inspiring, instead of all I'll use his word there, paraphrasing, of the bullshit in the world right now, hatred and negativity. He goes, I find this show and all I hear is you guys inspiring me to do better. And then he's like, my wife's looking for content too. So you are an honorary day one business athlete, my friend, and I got your back. Marty's got your back. Flynn's got your back, and Johnny's got your back. And Flynn, he's going to come on the show.
Story, let's go.
He's going to come on the show. Yeah, I told him so. We're going to get Jack on the show here coming up in the future, and he's like, I got more work to do, man. He sent me a video yesterday. I just, and I'm going to tell you guys, the video moved me to tears. Because he took time out of his day to send me a video, and he's like, you guys are changing my life every single day. And then you know what? I get Evan Marks texts me yesterday, Johnny, Marty, Kristina. He's like, what the hell just happened yesterday? I go, what do you mean? He goes, that show. I go, yeah. He goes, you guys were talking about things. You guys, you were talking about men saying, like, why do we have to use that word like pussy or bitch in a demeaning way? I go, I know. He's like, I don't like that. He goes, I got daughters. He goes, there's a better way to do that. He goes, what you guys talk about is the kind of conversations more men need to be having. So we moved the needle for Evan yesterday. We moved the needle for Dugan yesterday. And then there's one more person knocked on my door yesterday too. That's like, what are you guys doing over there? Because whatever you guys doing are moving the needle. And then Evan says to me, Johnny, he goes, I got a bunch of texts from a bunch of guys saying, this show that I've discovered, they're having these conversations about topics that aren't being had anywhere else. I'm like, yeah, true story. So nation, if you're looking for conversations that inspire you to move forward, that leave the hate over there, because those conversations are happening, right, Kristina? Especially on a day like today, we know there's a lot of those bad conversations happening. Come hang out with us. And sometimes it might be fluffy, but our goal is to give you actionable advice like we gave Jack. And you know what I love about Jack, Jon, Marty, Kristina? Is that, oh man, this is what I love with the whole fucking thing the most. No rocket science. He just gets up every single day with us. He's like, okay, I'm going to get up in the morning with Jack, Jon, and Marty. And
we're here.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to hang out with these guys. I'm going to hear their message. Then I'm going to go put it into action. Johnny.
It's just, what it comes down to is we're teaching people how to pull their pants down in public and be okay with it.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Nope.
You get some goddamn context, Jon.
I was waiting for that. I was like, come on, Kristina, you're late on this one. Speak it up.
Please.
Okay, I'll put the context up.
Thank you.
When you have the ability to just be an open book and show your flaws and show your insecurities and just show the world that you're human. That's pulling your pants down in public.
Yes.
And me, I love to pull my pants down in public because it helps. When I pull my pants down in public, I know if I'm in public, it'll help at least one other person.
Well, and I'm seeing it happen here, Johnny, because you've made me more comfortable. And I've had an effect on you. I've seen that we've had an effect on Marty. And I've seen us have an effect on Kristina. I've seen Kristina. Like, we've all had an effect on each other. And now we have our audience going, okay, you're having an effect on me. So clearly something's happening here, right? So if there's one, there's 10. If there's 10, there's 100. If there's 100, there's 1,000. And I'm going to call it our buddy Adam that will be on the show here in 15 minutes. I was on a meeting with Adam yesterday. He's like, yeah, I've been, being a little more comfortable, I'm paraphrasing House, a little more vulnerable and I'm watching him. Adam's even walking Johnny closer to the front of the camera, and Adam's even opening up a little more. And I love that because, and I talked about this yesterday with Evan and Jon, we as humans always judge the book by its cover. And then you go look at the book, and then you hear Andersen talk, and you're like, oh, that's not what I was expecting that big dude to say. And they're like, oh, that's not what Marty's supposed to say either. And why is Flynn saying that? That's not what she's supposed to say. And the keyword's supposed, because us as humans predefine what somebody's supposed to say, supposed to look like, and supposed to act. And then you end up on the show and you're like, oh, they're actually talking not like they're supposed to be talking. So I invite you guys to come, keep tuning in, like, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, content to help you guys move forward. Oh, hey, good. He left, eh? Johnny left? Oh, fuck, man. I thought he was gone for a while there. Anyways, okay. All right. So listen,
I'm coming back, baby. I'm back. My shit just got on this goddamn hotel Wi-Fi is just giving me trouble here, but I'm here, baby.
Marty.
Did you tell Adam that Evan kept saying brick by brick, and he didn't care what Adam thinks about that?
I did, because I was on the meeting with him yesterday. I was doing a little pitch, and I used brick by brick. And Bill was going to send me a season desist. I said, "Hey man, Mark's been dropping brick by brick too, so there might be season desist."
They got a TM on it though, because
that's exactly.
I need to do something. Yeah.
So listen,
why can't we all just share? Come on, man.
We're just sharing. Okay, listen, we're going to go to the accountability check-in right now. And we typically go to center stage, but we're moving things around because our buddy Marty's got to rock and roll here today, top of the hour. Again, he's got to go take care of humans, man. He's got to go. You got shit to do. So we're going to bring the center stage up to the second hour. But right now we're doing the accountability check-in. And today we're going to flip the script. Yes, we are. You feel the energy? Do you see the energy? It's time to level up, nation. Listen, here's how it works. Instead of checking your numbers, check the impact. Yeah, check your impact. Who did you lift up this morning? Did you? Maybe yourself, maybe the person over there, maybe your wife, maybe your kids. Whose signals did you read? Whose game did you elevate? Listen, it's November. December's over there. January's around the corner. Here's the truth. Your morning routine, the one that you start your day with, it isn't just about you. No, your morning routine sets others off as well. It's about everyone you touch first thing in the morning. You don't know how somebody slept. You don't know how somebody's morning was. Every interaction, every decision, every moment you choose to understand instead of override. So tomorrow morning when that alarm hits, ask yourself this question. Are you building an empire? Are you building walls? Think about it. Empire, walls. Are you growing your influence? Or are you growing your ego? Hey, I was the guy in the past who used to grow his ego. Oh yeah, true story. That guy over there, fucking hated that guy. Ego. Now he's way over there. He's on the other side of Kilimanjaro Mountain. I walked away from that guy. So listen, today, when you wake up, you start your day. Are you going to grow influence with your surrounding humans? Or are you going to grow your ego? Look in the mirror. Ask yourself, where does it start? The choice is yours. We just make suggestions. We make recommendations. You make the decisions. So here's what I'm going to ask you. That choice that's yours, what's the impact? That impact, that's on everyone around you. There you go, the accountability check. And think about what I said. Leader, think about it. Think about it. Think about the next person you're talking to. Think about where you vote today. Think about how you're going to interact with the humans around yourself today. All of your actions interact with those around you and affect those around you. There's your accountability check-in. All right, Jimmy, let's bring the crew back on stage here. We're keep moving the show along here. And at this point, we usually go to center stage. Oh, and of course, we got Johnny doing his thing, Marty, in the facility in the hotel there, or his Wi-Fi is not working. But right now, we're going to go to the In the Gym segment, Marty, where you hang out with me and Marty, you and Johnny. And we're going to dig into a topic. You guys are going to dig into a topic when John gets back here. I was looking at something this morning and I threw it over to you. I'm like, hey, dude, we got to talk about this today. And I saw a story about the godfather of bodybuilding. Johnny, I got something for you, Marty, to talk about here. And I said, Marty, tee this up with Johnny. And it is the godfather of bodybuilding. Johnny, you know Charles Glass? Yeah. Charles.
I met him
still. He's active. He's still in great shape. I mean, he's like put a whooping on Father Time.
Yeah, and Marty, you've met him too, eh?
Yeah, I met him, and I went to Gold's Venice, and the guy introduced himself to me. So
that is fucking cool, and I didn't know that this actually. So this sets up the segment perfectly then, because I found the story. The godfather of bodybuilding shows you how to tone your chest in 2 weeks with 6 effective chest exercises. So Johnny, Marty's going to sit back and chat with you about these exercises that Charles puts on the table, because if the godfather's putting it out there, I'm thinking that Marty, the next godfather, Jon Andersen, might either agree, disagree, or have some good chat around it. So why don't you guys tee it up for the next 6 or 7 minutes and have a chat about Charles Glass's ultimate chest workout, Christopher Martin. Jimmy, let's get me out of here.
Well, first off, let me just open up by saying that Charles, as you know, Artie, you met him in Goals. That's kind of like his house there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, he is still a trainer to like the elite. I mean, he's been a part of, I know for sure he's been a part of multiple Mr. Olympias. So he trains the top of the top. And then when he was doing it himself, I mean, he was never a Mr. Olympia, but you know, he was elite. And so he went from elite competitor as a competitor into an elite, basically a trainer and a prep coach. So the dude is the top of the line. No argument.
I agree. We're going to get to the first exercise to build that chest from Charles Glass. He says the first one is the chest press machine. How you feel about that, Johnny?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a chest press is a, you know, it's a press is a big move for the chest. But here's the thing with Charles Glass, you understand, is that most people think they know what they're doing. Right? Even me, perfect example. If Charles was overseeing me working out, he would have me doing that movement a little bit different. He understood how to get the body in position to really hit that muscle in a different way. Mm-hmm. And so he's just one of those dudes. That's what out of every exercise, he gets the most out of every rep. Yeah. And that's what makes him so special. So
yeah, no, I agree. And you know, most chest press machines, you can adjust the seat, you can adjust where the handles are. So, you know, that's big. A lot of people don't know, you know, you can change the angle of the exercise and really attack that muscle. And so I see when I watch Charles with his clients, I mean, he's doing freaking angles and shit I've never seen anyone else do. Yep. So the dude is definitely a genius. And then on the chest press, I mean, that shit is never easy for me. Like,
well, and here's the thing, I think for 100%, here's the thing for everybody listening. You got to understand there's a difference between being a bodybuilder and a weightlifter. Most people don't understand the difference. Yeah. A weightlifter is lifting weights. You know, whether it's a power lifter or an Olympic lifter, they're lifting weights. That's what they're doing, point A to point B. Yep. A bodybuilder is building a physique, building a muscle. So Charles is going to put people on a machine, like you just talking about the chest press. And it's about taking that muscle, isolating that muscle, and getting everything else out of the way. So that muscle is what's focused on. So why the machine? Because he can take the mechanics of any certain person, find exactly where they need to be, and target the chest just like he wants it. A regular bench press, also a great chest press, but he doesn't have as much control.
Absolutely. All right, the next one. Decline chest press machine with an incline. How you feel about that one, Johnny?
Decline. Say it one more time, brother.
It says decline chest press with incline. Yeah. I guess it just means that just the slant. I don't know why it has decline and incline.
So we're basically talking top and bottom angles. The chest, the regular chest press is kind of just the bulk. It's just more of a straight press. Decline is where if someone doesn't know, it'd be like if you're almost like a decline, like you're going to do a sit-up, but then you're doing a press there. An incline would be the opposite, where you're sitting in like slightly up. You know, the angle of that incline and decline is another big thing in terms of what angle you need to hit. You said it earlier. It's the angles. You know, and keep in mind, everybody is so different, and that's what makes him so special. He recognizes that. He can see what angles need to go. I mean, I remember I was watching him. I can't remember who was training, but he was having them do a tricep extension. And basically what he was trying to do is he's trying to get that guy to stop swinging his upper body and just isolate that tricep. And he put him in kind of a funky position. You know, so I tried it just to give a shot. Oh my God, those triceps were biting, man.
I gotta look that one up.
That was just me mimicking somebody else. Now, I guarantee if I was doing it, he'd have put me in that position to start and then tweaked it for my mechanics. You know, so and you know, here's the thing, like we talk about showing up, we talk about experience. I'm not sure how old Charles is, but the dude he's got to have 50 plus years of experience.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And there's no substitute for experience. You could read every book on the planet, let's forget in the gym. Business doesn't make a difference. You could read every book on business, but until you're in the trench and you understand how that shit really works, it's not the same. Exactly. Charles, I don't know that there's money. You could argue that he's been in the trench as long or longer than anybody left in the game. Him and Robbie Robinson.
He's 73, boys. He's 73, Marty, Johnny.
And I've seen him at Venice.
He's been in the trench
times.
for 60 years. Yeah, Robbie Robinson. Yeah, he's another one. Looks freaking wicked. 70. Those two dudes right there, man. They're just put a whooping on Father Time.
So Marty. So in the gym with Johnny, Marty, just to interrupt you there. So Marty, we laugh at Johnny all the time. He's been lifting for 40 years. So Glass has 20 more years. Like, think of this, Marty, right? So Johnny,
I'm just putting a down payment on what Charles has got.
That's what I mean, Marty. So Johnny's 52. Like, think about this. You're 31. So John's got 20 years on you. Glass has 20 more years on John yet, Marty.
Man, it's amazing,
right?
Yeah,
insane.
That's incredible.
I was gonna ask Johnny one more question. I know we didn't get through the whole list.
No, do that, Marty. Yeah, for sure.
But Johnny, how does decline chest press? How does that affect man boobs?
Oh, good one.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody says, "Oh, I got these tits. I need to get rid of these tits." You can do all the goddamn decline in the world. Those tits are from all the shit you've been eating at the dinner table. So, like you called it perfect. What you need to do is the plate push to get rid of those tits. And the plate push ain't in the gym. Yo, that's good, bro. I like that. That was good.
When I told Johnny to plate push, he was like, "I think I heard of that." I was like,
"Yeah." Well, because I was thinking you were talking about a steering wheel. A lot of times people call that a plate, but I'm thinking to myself, push. You got weird fucking names, but then you flipped it around and put it at the table. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, let's end the gym with Jon and Marty. We're moving things around this morning, but coming up right now.
Can we continue that list tomorrow?
Let's do it. We're going to continue tomorrow with Jon and Marty. We're going to go through Charles Glass's How to Build the Ultimate Chest. Knowledge from these two guys. These guys over there, Jon and Marty. But hey, it's the fit tip of the day. Marty, you're up, brother. Before we go to Adam House from the House of Ricks, coming up in 90 seconds or less. Marty.
Let's get it.
Let's go, baby.
All right. We got a fit tip. This one is a little different. All right. This one is for a lot of the guys are Johnny's age. A lot of the guys are Keith's age. Sorry, Jon and Keith, love you. But it's the truth. Anyway, we're going to talk about unsolicited advice in the gym. People talk too much, okay? Show up to the gym, get your work in, go home. Go home to your kids, wife, go do some work on your business. Get out of there. Everybody's not there to talk. So we've all seen it, right? Mid-workout, you got your headphones going, you got your playlist, you got your podcast, and you want to give me fitness advice that I didn't ask for. So this is how you offer help without being that person, okay? First of all, read the room. If someone's focused and they don't look like they want to chat, guess what? They probably don't want to chat. If she doesn't look like she wants to be flirting in the gym, fellas, she probably doesn't want to flirt. And ladies, same thing. And it is what it is. No matter what your sexual preference is, they might not want to talk. Ask first. Hey, do you mind if I share a tip? Right? It shows them respect. It's going to give them a choice. Keep it short. If they say yes, be brief. We don't need a lecture in the gym, right? I had an old head in the gym trying to lecture me last night about my training business, and he's never trained anyone or had a training business. Get out of my face. Not trying to sound mean. And respect a no. If someone's not interested, move on with your day. It's not about you. Let's make the gym a place of support and not unwanted advice. That's the fitness tip for today.
Good tip of the day. Somebody's giving you advice. Hey, Marty, you're just fucking jacking your
Oh, my God. All the time. All the time.
It's like Adam just giving me advice left and right. Like, hey, I got the advice how to shoot a basketball hoop here, basketball there. And I'm like, House, come on, man. I know how to shoot a basketball.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
We're starting like
Keith,
that.
you got to be careful. Keith, be careful. Adam's not backstage anymore. He can defend himself now. You got to stop.
Yeah.
You run the tongue great when he's in the green room, and now he's here. Look out, baby.
I mean, we can't do this every week, Keith. Okay. because we just can't. Everyone knows. They can tell on the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. They know who's going to dunk on who.
Yeah. I'm the business.
Jump in. I got to jump in because, Adam, you don't need to say anything. The man just said he's going to teach me how to make a basketball hoop.
Is that what I said?
That is what he said.
Man knows nothing about ball. Leave it.
Thank you.
Leave it.
You're going to actually make a basketball hoop out of wood and an apple basket? What are you talking about?
Yes, exactly. We got
Thank you.
We got Adam House joining us here from the greatest community on the internet called House of Bricks. Adam's here. He joins us every single Tuesday at around this time. And today we're talking about empathy and so forth. But Adam, you've worked with some of the biggest companies out there. And here's what fascinates me. 1 in 3 Fortune 500 companies now use leadership coaching with up to 50 times return on investment. Let's dive in and discuss some common pitfalls, Adam, in leadership and how to avoid them by leading with empathy and vision. There's a lot of guys starting the day right now, Adam. There's a lot of humans in America right now that are going to start their day and they're going to plot through it, and they might not be starting with empathy or vision. So, Adam, let's start there and let's start talking about this idea of micromanaging killing folks. Where do we start?
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No. Where do we start with this, Adam?
Well, it's funny when you said that, like empathy and vision can a lot of times be a paradox, right? Because if you've cast a vision, especially a guy like me, I see that destination, I'm running through brick walls, right?
Yes.
And that's part of things that I'm developing in myself that you talked about on the community call yesterday. Like I will run myself into the ground. I will create a lot of collateral damage to myself, the people around me. And so you have to be careful as a visionary of also being empathetic, because everyone is not built like a visionary, right? They have different skill sets, different mindsets. And so you have to be able to see the vision, know how you're going to get there, but then also figure out how to get the most out of your team.
Oh, I like that, Adam, because I've been having this conversation with my own head today, especially after we hung out yesterday. And you said something to me as we were chatting that you just know there's moments as an entrepreneur. You just know there's a moment, right? And it's like, I think Johnny's known in his career and Marty has known in his career where it's just time to almost like level up, right? It's like, oh, it's time to find the other gear. And I think, Adam, if you have put the time into being a good leader with empathy along the way, when it's time for you to up that gear, Adam, I'm hoping that the team around you understands that you've built the foundation of empathy, that when it's time to up that gear level, that those can keep up with you.
And I'm in that moment. I mean, you can just see it on my face. You can hear it on my phone calls. You can see it in my posts, right? Just the change in how I'm talking about things. Like the first 6 months of the year, I was talking about the struggle zone and entrepreneurship and depression, and 9 out of 10 startups fail. And I never know when this moment is going to happen in business, just like in sports. But when it does happen, I freaking know it. I've been doing it for 27 years. I've coached hundreds of startups. Like I know I'm in that moment. So anyone that's watching, follow the House of Bricks, see me on LinkedIn and watch us take off, baby. The rocket fuel is in.
I like that. So Adam, here's a tough question for you that all leaders balance. I'm sure Johnny's balanced this as he was running his gym, and Marty might need to learn some of this, Adam, as he's going through kind of his next stage in his life as well. But Adam, how does empathy and vision help leaders balance immediate results with lasting impact? I'm going to add to this, without burning the bridges along the way.
This is one of the most difficult things to do as an entrepreneur, because you're thinking, okay, I've got a $50,000 payroll due Friday.
Yeah.
How am I going to come up with that cash if you need sales and cash, right? And then you're also thinking, well, what is the long-term impact? So we've gone through this at the House of Bricks. First, it was Startup X, then it was coaching, then it was the podcast, then it was VIP dinners. So it takes a lot of that testing, failing, learning, and growing, which I teach. But we're at that point now where I'm going to trust my team. I'm going to say, do your thing, let's roll. And I trust them. If you don't trust them, and it's not trusting them to succeed, you actually have to trust them to fail. And that is the most difficult thing, is like letting them fail and learn when you know potentially a different way they could doing it. And you could also be wrong. So we talked about it last week. We talked about focus, and it takes 20 some odd minutes to get back on track. Well, if I'm texting my team all day long, I'm disrupting them all day.
Johnny, Marty, Marty, I heard you kind of lean into that. Marty.
That's a good one. I never heard that before. I thought maybe as the leader, you probably would want to be on top of your team, but that's a great perspective with picking a team that you can trust, so you can leave them alone and let them do their jobs. So I thought that was interesting. What he said. I never heard that it's disrupting them, and it takes 20 minutes to get back on track. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
John, you were killing me with the gym comments, because I've seen those guys in the gym on the phone, by the way, like taking 20 minutes on the chest press in between texts and posting. So
that's a perfect example.
Perfect example. And the other one is the body doesn't lie. So if you come up and you're giving me advice and I look better than you, like, please, seriously, the body doesn't lie. Okay.
That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't know if that was going too far, and I disappointed Keith. But that's what I wanted to say.
Marty, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. Yeah. Johnny, how about you manage? You've got folks. You had a very successful gym, and you've gone through your path of managing folks along the way. Have you had to build that empathy capital, as I'll call it, so that when it gets to the tough moments, maybe you're able to lean into that capital to push the buttons of the human you're trying to move forward, Johnny?
Well, what I like to do, excuse me, I like to free their spirits. I like to inspire and motivate them by basically I create a system for them to execute. Yeah. And so then they engage in that system, and they know that if the system fails, that it's something that we're going to work on fixing together when it fails. Because a lot of times people have a hard time. Not everybody can just be given the freedom to fail and they'll go do it. A lot of people don't lean into failure that way. So I create a system. Sometimes I don't know if the system's going to work, but I know that it's moving in the right direction. Execute the system. If it works, perfect. We'll keep going. Minor adjustments. If come back and tell me where it failed, we'll tweak it. We'll go do it again. So I like to kind of, excuse me, I like to kind of promote that part of the human that has a hard time stepping out of the shell with a little protection from a system, if you will. Yeah.
Adam, looking at you, brother, as a fellow leader, motivating, inspiring, building your team, how do you level up your game? Because you have that vision, like, I'm leveling, I'm moving to the next level. How do you get the team how do you get that team to that next level with you, Adam? Or do you understand that they're not going to be at that next level with you, but you're going to try to get them as close as you can?
Well, they don't have to be at the same level, right? Not everyone's the visionary. I've got guys like Michael and Bill on my team. They're executors, right? So I have to be 10 yards ahead of everyone else and get out of the weeds. So I literally, I'm talking to Michael later today, like, I'm out. You execute. I'll go, make it rain and cast the vision. And that's the role of the leader. And we've talked about this, and this is why people should listen to this show, okay? Because the best form of leadership is self-leadership. If you lead yourself, then you will have empathy towards yourself. Like, I don't show myself any empathy. I beat the crap out of myself every day, right? It's, 12, 14, I've gotten better at it. But I'm in the gym in the morning, I'm crushing it. I'm working all day, I'm crushing it. Very rarely do I take time to really address where I'm at. And so for anyone, and you don't have to be a CEO to be a leader. We can all lead ourselves. So just what people are getting out of this, mindset, nutrition, physical health, marriage advice. We all need this. Take the time, block out half an hour, jump on this show, and let's start your morning in the right direction.
Adam, I would suggest to you that as I've gotten to know you, you actually do lead yourself with empathy, because you do start the day in the gym. And to me, that's being empathetic to your human. You're going, okay, I got to take care of myself first. So I think you are being empathetic to yourself by doing that. And Adam, something I haven't told you, man, that I'm excited to tell you, and I think you're really going to get excited about this. We have a listener who's been joining our show, and you said it, man, who's been tuning in for a number of months. Adam, by embracing accountability and by joining our show daily, the dude's lost 40 pounds. Like, no magic, just taking your advice, showing up, tuning into positive messages, and then doing it again tomorrow. And there's no formulas, Adam, just showing up and having a positive mindset. And he's 40 pounds down, Adam House. Like, come on, man.
If you can help someone lose weight, that guy should be telling everyone and his brother to be listening to this show. So that, like, if you can help someone lose weight, like, they will be the biggest raving fan for you out there. So whoever that is, get on your social media and share this show, because there's more people out here like it. That's why we're doing this.
Yes.
We're after that one person, that one marriage, right? That one father that's down on himself, that feels like a failure. The one guy that's overweight, like just one guy, and we can create
one at a time, baby.
Yeah. But what I like about that, Adam and Jon, is that it starts that morning empathy. And Adam, I'm telling you, man, I do it. Jon doesn't. You do it yourself. I got to take care of my human first. Empathetic to that, because we're often talking about empathy from the emotional side of things. But if you got your shit sorted here, and here, you're going to be a powerful leader. And Jack Dugan, our guy who's lost 40, is doing that every single day. Yes, right. Sir. So it's got to start there.
Look at Cosmic. I think that's what's he saying? He's talking about he helped him and his cousin and his brother. So shit, it's stacking up. Look at that. You see it? I think Cosmic Vision.
Cosmic Vision. There you go. That's awesome. We got Cosmic Vision helping us as well. And hey, Marty, Shelly Spence got her shirt. So Shelly Spence on the Less Brunches, More Crunchy train, which is fantastic here. So awesome. Let's wrap up the segment. Kelly Lisa, I see you there on LinkedIn. I see your comments. I appreciate you joining the show this morning. Always love having you join the conversation. Adam, before we rock and roll, before you keep tackling the day, brother, I know you got a lot of big plans going on today. Where can Business Athlete Nation find you? And what's one nugget you want to leave for Nation to consider as we walk outside of the door here today, Adam?
Easiest place is on LinkedIn. I don't know if I can drop a chat in, but just on future shows, if we could put the link to our community in here so people can learn more about it. It's awesome.
I'll throw it in there. I'll throw it in there for you, Adam.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you know it on school there?
No, I'm looking for it real quick.
I'm on
your LinkedIn. Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
It's in our chat, but I know we're on time here, but I do want to say something. In the House of Bricks, we have also a lot of military veterans, and a lot of doors are opening in the military, and there's definitely a lot of predatory businesses out there that try to help veterans or serve veterans. Like, these guys are trained assassins. They're way more qualified than 90% of your workforce. So we're going to help them transform those military skills into business skills and turn them into assassins. So they will be perfect for what you guys are doing here at the Morning Lab, what you're doing with the business athletes. So we're going to raise an army of business leaders and men that have served our country. So what I'm going to leave you guys with today is, the most important thing, again, as a leader, is to lead yourself. And you say, I am empathetic to myself. Well, if you saw me in the gym, you wouldn't think I was being empathetic. So create, whether it's a 5-minute walk, 15-minute walk, there's no science to it other than just take some time to yourself, reflect, and then the more you give to yourself, the more you can give to others, and be okay with receiving from others. A lot of leaders can't receive from others, and you end up with nothing left. So I'm the kind of guy, I'll drop $1,000 on a client at dinner, but I won't let them buy me a cup of coffee. So be able to receive from others, and then you just can give more, and it's an exponential flywheel that will change your life and everyone around you.
Adam House joining us every single day, every single Tuesday here, Mornings in Live with Keith and friends. Listen, go check out Adam and the House of Bricks community. Adam and Michael and Bill and the entire Paul Reeder, the whole gang there. Great advice. If you're an entrepreneur, business leader, you want to go find the House of Bricks. And I can assure you that the Business Athlete Performance Lab and the House of Bricks will be doing more together. So connect with me, connect with Adam, and I can assure you, you will find greatness. Speaking of greatness.
Jon and Marty, great to see you guys, man.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Adam.
See you next week.
Good to see you, Adam.
All right, Adam. Take care, brother. All right, you guys hear the sound. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Jon Andersen. No, not AJ Zeglin. He's coming up next. Go get it, Johnny.
All right, check this out. Most people say they would die for kids, but the question that you really need to ask yourself is, would you heal for them? Because if you don't heal for them, they're going to have to heal from you. Think about that. They don't give a shit what you say. They care what you do. So are you leading a life, improving yourself, eating right, exercising, focusing on what matters so you can demonstrate to them how to live a better life? Do you want them to be broke and fat? Do you want them to have the average American disease? No, you don't. So focus on your self-improvement. And remember, if you don't heal for them, they're going to have to heal from you. Rock and roll.
Heal for them. What was it, Johnny? They're not going to heal for you?
If you don't heal for them, they're going to have to heal from you.
Oh, I like that. Wow, spinning words. AJ Zagler joining us here. Mind Fuel. Marty's got something to say here.
That was just the broken fat part. That was hilarious, man.
Well, I mean, seriously, man. You want your kids to be broken fat? Well, there's a lot of broke fat people out there, and they're not focusing on themselves. So they're a perfect fucking roadmap of how to be broken fat. And that's what their kids are going to end up. So if they don't focus on themselves to be better, then their kids are going to lead that same fucking life, and they're going to have to heal from the terrible roadmap they followed, because that's what they're programmed to do. So again, think about it, twist the words around it. It's fucking crazy. If you don't heal for them, they're going to have to heal from you.
All right, we're segueing from broken fat, AJ Zeglin, to emotional intelligence and bringing empathy to. AJ is a witty fellow. I'm curious to know the words coming out of his mouth right now as we introduce AJ to the floor. What's going on, Zeglin?
What's going on, guys? No, I love it, because I feel like what Jon is saying there, and I tell people this all the time, is when you're in the context of your kids or the people that you're leading, they're going to do what you do rather than what you say.
Marty?
Right? And I agree with that 100%. So, if you're a smoker and you're just chain smoking, you're hacking 2 packs of darts a day, and you're telling your kids smoking is bad, don't do it.
Yeah.
They're going to probably end up smoking because they're seeing you smoking packs a day, right? That's how it works, right? So you have to show them. They're more likely to do what you do than do what you say. So I totally agree with what Jon was saying there.
But Jimmy, get me in.
I mean, fuck my daughters. I told them to do all this stuff when they were growing up. They were like, Dad, what the hell? Now they're adults, and they're like, thank you, Dad. So your kids are going to follow what you say.
Keep going, Marty. What does he say?
No, they follow what you do, not what you say.
They follow what you do, not what they say. Fuck.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit what you say. They care what you do. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for living the way that I need to live as an adult.
Zagler, I was waiting for that, man. All right.
Sorry, AJ.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right.
As Marty, as AJ was starting it, I can see we are both completing each other's sentences there, looking at Johnny. Okay, we know where this is going here. But AJ, let's turn. Today we're talking emotional intelligence and empathy. And we're talking about Let's turn emotional intelligence into a performance multiplier. But let's first start with the science. What happens in our brain when we lead with empathy? What changes to our body physiologically, AJ?
So when we lead with empathy, we de-escalate the situation, right? So oftentimes in a conversation, if we feel that someone has a different opinion of ours, or something is different in any type of way, we get our backs up, we get defensive, right? And now there's increased tension and stress in there, right? So from a physiological way, when we show empathy, when we're able to have that skill of putting ourselves in someone else's shoes and understanding where they're coming from and actively listening to them with the intent of understanding what they're saying and not just us just thinking the whole time about the next thing that we want to say, right? But when we're able to do that, then it just de-escalates the stress and the conflict in the situation, and it makes it way more productive, right? We got to remember that emotional intelligence, it's two factors. There's 2 parts to it. There's how we're managing our own emotions, but then there's also how we are understanding the emotions of others, of other people, right? So it's we got to make sure that we're covering both bases.
Well, it's hard. And, I'm glad you said 2 things. Johnny, one quick thing here, but you said emotional and intelligence. There's 2 things putting the radio. Two big words, two big concepts, put them together and then make it happen. I know I found myself in a situation yesterday where I was practicing Johnny, responding instead of reacting. That's what it is, right? I've this show and hanging out with you guys has been just keep that awareness for me. And AJ, it helps me lead with that emotionally empathetic response. Johnny, you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, what AJ just said, it was so fucking good. I mean, it's literally just 2 days ago. I told my wife, I told Terry, I said, you know what, honey? I said, if I am really, really in tune, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm in tune with where you are, and whether you're having a struggle or a bad day, whatever it is, and I can really, really understand that, and I can truly, truly make sure that I respond rather than react. We could have the rest of our lives without having a fight. And so we were coming back from Mexico, and she didn't sleep well. One of our dogs was up, not feeling well. And she woke up and she's like, honey, I didn't sleep much. Her words were, I'm crusty today, which means she's, crusty, crunchy means, hey, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? This is a fucking opportunity here. So she was very clear. How I could not have understood that, I would have been freaking an idiot. So I made sure that I was really in that mode where if she got a little punchy, I was going to breathe and I was going to respond rather than react. But more importantly, what I did was, and we were in the car for 6 hours coming home. And sometimes that can make for, if something goes off track, man, there's nowhere to go. No. so I started talking to her about things that I knew she was interested in. And I just kind of, based upon, just like AJ said, I just kind of led with understanding where she was, and I just slowly brought her into a better space. And at the end, right halfway home, she was smiling, she was having a good time. And so I guess what I'm getting at is that I just think that if people understand, and AJ, you just described it perfectly. If you can do that, you have, I don't mean control in a bad way. You have full control of your relationships not turning into these negative fucking waste bins. And so I just made the commitment to myself first, but also to my relationship with her, that my goal is never to have another fight. It's retarded to have another fight. Knowing what I know, and if I truly stay tuned into her, there should never be another fight.
Yes. AJ?
Yeah, no, I love it. It's just a good example, right? Too, of just like that could easily escalate into an argument, right? But you're like, okay, let me take a second here, put myself in the other person's shoes. Oh yeah, I've been in a crusty mood before. I know how that feels. I know if I'm tired or this or that. I know how I'm right. And just by doing that, then we don't get so defensive and been like, well, why are you coming at me with it? And it just de-escalates the situation, allows you to communicate clearly and effectively with one another.
Yes.
So, and what you said, brother, real, like you said, why are you coming at me? That's me being a little bitch. I know she's in a bad mood. Shit, put up a little armor. Fucking A, And so that's so perfect. It's sometimes you got to just realize, okay, I might take a little slap in the face here and there, but I'm a big boy. I'm going to be okay. I was told this was going to be a rough one. Suck it up. It's kind of like going into the fourth quarter. Look, we're behind. It's time to pull up your fucking pants, everyone. Let's get it on. You got to do it there too.
So go ahead, AJ.
I was just going to say, I love how Jon simplifies things. I almost want to bring him into session with me when I'm working with the client, and I'll give the textbook kind of explanation of it, and then Jon can just lean in from behind and be like, stop being a bitch. That's what he's saying, and then he can sit back and
Yes. So I'm going to. So one of my roles as host of this show, and one of my missions in life as I continue building this show, is to help all of us continue to be better as human beings. That's what my purpose is. That's what really my goal is. And as I sit with my family members through life, like my true like my blood family.
You muted, Keith.
Yep. You're
muted, Keith.
Audio.
You're muted, Keith. You're muted, Keith. You're muted. You're muted.
Wave him down. Wave him down. Wave him down. Come on, baby. Look at here.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what he was changing directions, wasn't he?
He was changing directions.
I lost him almost right away.
Well, let's just keep talking about what we were talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say, AJ, man, everything you say on this show is impactful. So let's go a little deeper into is you basically kind of laid out, and I kind of just made an example of, it was almost crazy. Like you said that just a couple days ago, I was kind of working on this in my relationship. Talk more about that, but lead with empathy, brother. That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just because, so in when we're leading with it, obviously if we have that understanding that it's not only our emotions, but trying to understand the other person's emotions, and then we're reflecting back on how that's making us feel, right? So we have to have awareness in the situation, right? Like this person's telling me something, sharing with me something, I'm in this situation. Oh, I can feel myself getting a little heated. I can feel myself, right? And that's natural. Like the goal is not to be a robot and not feel anything. It's just to be aware of what we're feeling and then control it and regulate it, right? So when we get in those conversations with people, and it could be a good conversation, a bad conversation, or anything in between, right? We're just aware. We're going to be reacting to what they're saying. It's going to make us feel emotions. It could make us feel happy or sad or mad or angry or, a million different emotions. And we're just aware of how that's making us feel. And then we just use the proper skill or the tool to just regulate ourselves in that moment so we can keep the connection with the person, so we can keep the conversation productive, and all those great things that allow us to have strong relationships.
So, AJ, so
it's so good because really, I'm sorry, Marty. So really, if we're a bigger, better person, we just realize, okay, look, this is what's happening. I'm going to be a bigger person. I'm going to stomach a little bit of this. I'm going to understand they're having a bad day, and we're going to be okay. So really, what it comes down to, it's actually showing strength, leading with empathy.
Absolutely. Yes. Empathy, vulnerability, these things are actually true signs of strength, right?
Yes.
They can be difficult to do, and it can be a little bit scary to put yourself out there in certain ways, right? But that's what strength is, right? It's putting yourself in a situation might be a little bit uncomfortable, might be a little bit scary, might be a little bit difficult, and still choosing to do it anyway. That's strength. Avoiding that and taking the other route, the easy way out of it, is not strength, right? So sorry, Marty, you were going to say something there before.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, let's say someone is just struggling with empathy. Like they can't put themselves in someone else's shoes. What can they do to improve that or become empathetic? What steps can they take?
Yeah, no, that's great. So it is a skill, right? So like all the skills we always talk about, it's about practice. It's just reps and reps and reps and reps, right? So we have to start somewhere, and it could be really challenging for us, right? We're more likely to be able to feel empathy for someone who's already closer to us, because we already feel a certain type of connection, right? So if you could start practicing that skill with your partner or your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister or someone in your family that you're already close with, we're more likely to be able to put ourselves in their shoes because we feel like we have more in common with them. We know a little bit more about them and their understanding, right? And as we get better at that, we can expand it to other people that we communicate with, right? Because you're right, Marty. Like to start, if you just meet someone and you feel like you have nothing in common with this person, you've never crossed paths in your life, and you're very disconnected from them, you could be like, geez, I feel like I'm having a hard time putting myself in their shoes. I feel like we got like I'm just having a really hard time imagining where they're coming from because I don't know anything about them, right? So we can start small. That first step could be with people closer to you in your inner circle. And then when we're expanding it, just you got to look for some common ground, right? Like the first time that we had all met, even if it was online, I was just listening to you guys talk, and I was drawing out and picking out things that you guys were saying and sharing, being like, oh yeah, like, or I'm familiar with that, or I've heard that before. That's interesting. Or, oh yeah, these guys like going to the gym too and working out. They're always talking about it. Okay, well, I like that too. So now, you know what I mean? I'm trying to find tiny little things that connect us instead of our differences. And once I got a few connections that I feel like I can identify with, I'm also more likely to be able to put myself in your shoes, right? Because now I feel like we have something in common, right?
AJ Zeglen hanging out with you today. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Mindfield segment here. The segment where we help dive into the mind. We're talking empathy here today. We've gone a little bit into overtime. AJ, great segment, man. Some great advice. Marty, great question you asked for somebody who's thinking, because guys, I was that dude who just didn't know empathy. I didn't understand.
Me too. That's why I asked.
And AJ, and I met you when I was in my late 30s. I was going through my journey. I've talked often about it on this show. I was messed up. My values were messed up. Didn't really understand what empathy was. I didn't know how to be empathetic. I did not know how to be empathetic. I had to learn. And big credit to AJ, who's my friend along my journey, to help me learn about empathy. It's a skill, man. Johnny.
And to remind everyone, just like AJ confirmed, it shows strength, not weakness, to be empathetic. So if you think you're being weak when you're doing it, you're sadly mistaken.
Yes.
And in my opinion, I think it's some wisdom too.
It is. And I want to offer this, and I want to offer this with grace with what I'm going to say next. So I was muted with what I said next. So we're talking empathy, and we've been talking choices of words and how we make people feel over the last few days. So one of the things that I like to do with my family, my blood family, is often just pose questions of, do we still need to use those words? I don't know. If we're leading with empathy, do we still want to use those words? And one of the words that we used today was the R word. And I don't know if we want, and I'm not sure if we want to continue using that word, because that word, if we're leading with empathy, might not make somebody feel it in a good way. So just throwing the word out there that we might want to not use words like the R word, so that we can bring us back to a place where we, and it's funny because I had this conversation with my brother a few months ago, and he's like, "Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think I need to use that word anymore." Yeah, let's not use it anymore. So I just offered up there. We might want to consider. And yes, Johnny, I didn't see you leaning in here.
I was going to say that my 1,000 bodyweight squat's got my brain moving a little slow. The R word, I'm still trying to connect the fucking dots. Let me fill me in so I don't start slinging this thing. What word are we talking about here?
So we just don't. I don't think we want to. I don't know if we want. I don't know if somebody has a family member that might be mentally disabled. Or having.
Okay. I'm with you. Yeah. Enough said.
I know you well enough, Johnny. I know you well enough with your heart and your love that having a conversation, and that's the purpose of this show, gentlemen. And I feel like that's the purpose of my role. Like, I really believe that's why I wake up every morning, because I'm hoping somebody today is going, you know what, Bilous is actually making a good point. And Johnny's going, yeah, actually, I think Bilous is making a good point. So maybe I'm not going to use that word in the future. And listen, we are going to use it every now and then. But I'm just trying to help us. If we're leading with empathy, maybe we can just choose different words. I don't know. Just something to consider. Johnny, I love you, brother. Marty, I love you, brother. AJ, you know how I feel about you, pal. Last words to you, brother. AJ, any final words on empathy as we say goodbye to this segment today?
Just like anything, right? It's all about action, right? I know we talk about amazing stuff on here, and then it's all about putting it into action. So just like everything else, just start. Now that we've talked about it, you have an idea of what it is, just start. Today, when you're talking to someone, actively listen to them and try to imagine what they're feeling in that moment and what they're experiencing, and put yourself in their shoes. It doesn't even matter if you think it's like anything overly important, right? It's just a skill. It's got to be developed. So just action, put it to use. Start practicing empathy any chance that you get.
And you know what, AJ? Encourage somebody not to be scared to try it, because somebody who's like, I don't want to put myself out there.
Yeah.
Just tell them to do it. Try it.
No, yeah, for sure. Like we said, we're talking about, this is a show for men, right? And we're talking about feeling useful in our communities, useful in this world, having a purpose, showing strength, and not the macho bravado strength, but the true strength. Here's your opportunity, right? It can be scary to put yourself out there. Do it, right? That's how you get better. That's how you grow.
Yes. Good stuff, AJ Zeglen. Right. Always dropping nuggets in the lab every single Tuesday and Thursday. Mindfield with our friend, our brother, AJ Zeglen. Zeglen, go crush today, man. I know you crush it every single day. And, Marty, Johnny, we got to bring AJ on for, I think, a full show coming up here just to spend more time getting to know AJ. I feel like as we get into conversation, he's got to rock and roll. So, AJ, maybe we can find some time on the schedule to have you sit down with us for a longer chat. We can get more into knowing you and your family and what makes AJ Zeglen tick. Because, Nation, we talk about judging a book by its cover. I've got to know this young man for 12, 15 years. Johnny, Marty, this guy is a superstar. And not just what you see deep down inside, Jon Andersen.
Yeah, AJ is like he's like cake to a fat kid. There's never enough.
I know AJ well enough, Johnny, that he's going to take that for the whole day today.
Oh man, that is my day.
And Marty is just. Let's. I don't know what to say. Where's Flynn?
How am I supposed to go on after that?
Yeah, like what are we doing, man?
How am I?
What are we doing here? We had such a great combo, and then Johnny just ends the
it.
combo like that.
I just love it.
Well, I mean, because we're giving AJ the up. You know, what better up than that? You know, come on.
I love all you guys. AJ, have a great day, brother.
Thank
you, AJ.
Later, AJ.
Thank you, AJ.
Bring Flynn on for the brand.
God
I'm out of here too. I gotta go too.
Marty, go get it, brother. Marty, go hang out with the old folks. Hey, Johnny.
Oh man,
Love you, Marty.
see y'all tomorrow, man. All right, y'all.
Oh my God. AJ is like cake to a fat kid. You never get enough. The hell am I supposed to do with that? It's so good. Only Jon can say these things. Like nobody else could get away with that. I love it so much. All right. Your tiny step of bravery starts today. So the other day, my 4-year-old told me that her classmate didn't like the look of her. Yeah. I asked her why. She said she didn't like my headband. When I heard it, trust me, my mama bear, that mama bear brain went straight to, fuck that kid. What's her name? I know it sounds awful. That's where the brain went. But I took a breath and I asked, do you like the headband, babe? She nodded. And I reminded her, great. That's all that really matters. This isn't just a lesson for my daughter. It's a lesson that I'm still learning at 40, and one that has kept me from creating content, from standing up for myself, from seeing my own value. Here's the truth. Every time you put yourself out there, posting, creating, engaging, there will be people who don't like the look of you. They won't like your approach. They won't like your perspective. And that's okay. It's normal. You're not going to appeal to everyone because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. So are you ready to take that tiny step of bravery? Are you ready to wear the headband despite what your classmate told you, just like my daughter did that very next day, to put yourself out there one post at a time and build your personal brand? I know that you are. You know that you are. It's your time. And yes, it is that simple. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you take today's brand bite into account, you will be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
The brand bite, Kristina Flynn, following Zeglin today with some good knowledge. The kids always just give us stuff to think about, don't they, Kristina? The kids.
Oh my gosh.
When they're like, they say something, you're like, oh,
it's just genius. It's just like my kids. And Jon, you've taught me a lot about this, of like it's a stark reality when you see yourself and the parts of yourself that you don't love showing up in your own kid. And you're like, okay,
God damn it.
I haven't healed me yet. And if I don't work on this with her and ultimately then go aside and work on me, this is going to be shit that she's going to have to heal from. And I didn't end the loop. I didn't cut it off and break the cycle. So that's on me. That's not on me.
You know, in the Bible, they actually call, you know, I was a theology major. So in the Bible, they actually call this the generational curse. It just keeps, what's so funny, Keith? Jesus Christ.
Because Keith
if he's still
that nobody looks at you, Jon, and says, that's a theology major right there.
So
major in theology, minor in philosophy. That's why you got all these nuggets coming at you.
I love it. That's the point, Jon, because we got folks dropping Bible stuff every now and then. They're just out of the blue, Flynn. You know what the Bible says. I'm like, oh, there's Andersen not quoting.
I've never heard you quote the Bible, which is interesting. I love that.
We got Marty. I hope you're tuning in right now on the fly here, my friend.
But the generational curse is real. The shit just keeps rolling downhill. And you know, I'm actually lucky that a curse was broken. My generational, I guess you wouldn't know what you call it, as it goes downhill. I was lucky enough to be part of having a shock in my life big enough to recognize the curse and putting a stop to it. So I'm fucking, even being aware of it is really the key, because most people don't have a clue that they're passing this shit downhill.
Oh, yeah. My mom was the same. Me and my two sisters consistently look at my mom and go like, thank you. Because it's not evident in that moment always until you do your own work. And then you look, it's like, okay, so that was there with my mom, and that was there with my grandma, which means that was definitely there with my great grandma. And we constantly look at my mom going, thank you for ending that. Thank you for breaking that cycle, because it could have easily continued.
Well, yeah, 100%. And you don't, however it gets broken, you don't complain, because whether it's broken through, joy or pain, it's broken.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's important,
Yeah.
So,
woo, that's some deep stuff. Go ahead, Johnny.
What were you? What were you? You were given a couple of O's. What were the O's for? Like you had something popping up. You were ready to spit out.
I was just taken aback by, not taken aback, but you said though that you stopped the curve. You had the awareness to stop what was happening.
Well, I want to be totally sure. I'm not giving myself the wisdom. I was just kicked hard enough in the fucking nuts to see what was going on. The joke, what I was saying, look,
you had the life kicks you had to have the awareness, so you had to create awareness.
When life kicks you in the nuts and you're on your hands and knees, you see from a different point of view than when you're standing tall. And when you do get kicked that hard and you're on your hands and knees, you've got a different vantage point. And so when you're down there, I would say, don't let a good tragedy go to waste. You're supposed to see something different. And so basically it was, just to get a little more detailed, it came down to, I had a rough relationship with my blood dad. And through our relationship, it came from his dad, because his brothers and even my grandma said, he had a really, really rough relationship with his dad. I don't know the details, but I think that his dad probably pushed him away a lot. And so he did that to my sister and myself. And when he pushed me away, it gave me a vantage point to start to see, once the communication stopped, it gave me a chance to actually see, like, whoa, I'm fucking doing this shit too. I'm doing it to my offspring. Yeah. I'm doing it to Terry. And so as soon as I got that perspective, keep in mind, I was on my hands and knees. It was a gut shot. It was a nut shot. And I was like, whoa. So when I climbed back to my feet, I'm like, number one, thank you, Dad. Number two, now I know exactly what fucking not to do. And sometimes you learn a lot better. It's easier to learn what not to do sometimes than what to do. And so, I'm a big one. I'll remove one bad habit. That'll make a big step forward. This was the removing of a pattern that I was doing that I didn't know. And within literally months, my relationship with Terry, my relationship with my daughters just started getting so much better. I'm not talking, it was just getting deeper. It was getting more enriched because they could feel me there in a much more present fashion. And
how old were you,
didn't
Jon?
understand. Oh, fuck, we're talking fucking couple of years. This is like all new development. We're talking a couple of years ago. So this is like, this is like probably one of my biggest blessings from my blood dad was the fact that I was given this vantage point, because unfortunately he's passed now, as you guys remember. He just passed a month or two ago. But the losing a couple of years of my relationship with him, of course, is tragic, but it opened up, decades of a better relationship with my daughters and Terry. So yes, there was a sacrifice, but look what that sacrifice is giving, not only me, but my daughters and my wonderful wife. So, again, when I always say, I say all the time, when you get kicked in the nuts, you're on your hands and knees, you're supposed to see something down there because you're at a different vantage point. I'm not fucking around. That shit is real. So don't let a good tragedy go to waste.
I shake my head at this because, again, we're just dispelling this myth. I've been talking about it. I'm going to talk about it again today. And Johnny, you've been talking about it. Men, you can teach an old dog new tricks. I don't care what you fucking say. Jon Andersen just admitted. I've been admitting it every single day. And I'm working every single day harder at reacting instead of, what is it, Johnny? Reacting instead of responding. Responding instead of reacting. I'm sorry.
Respond. Well, that's okay, because you figure react is like this knee-jerk boom. And usually the knee-jerk boom is not what you're looking for. A deep breath. How do I respond? That's what you're looking for.
Because you said something even on this show half an hour ago about this whole idea of, like, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, I don't want to fight with my wife. Like, it seems like it seems ridiculous. There's the better R word. It seems ridiculous that I'm going to fight with my wife. And you're like, why? Like, and I'm probably going to complete your sentence, Johnny, because you're saying I'm 52 years old. What the hell's the point of all this? I'm smarter. I'm more knowledgeable. Why do I want to put my emotion into this negative energy? And Johnny, since I've met you and Chris and doing this show, man, I feel the same thing. Like, I'm like, what the hell's the point? Like, that's just not that's not a good point of my energy. And to me, it comes back to empathy. And Johnny, you got in the car with Terry a few weeks ago or last week, and she says, I'm feeling kind of crusty. Your empathy gene stepped up. You're like, oh, okay, I heard that. I'm going to do something to try to make the situation a little bit better. That is fucking powerful, man. That's empathy. And that's leadership. I'm not leading like your boss or your kids. That's just leadership as a human being, recognizing the situation, going, okay, I know how I can make the situation a little more tenable for both of us. That's powerful shit, Jon Andersen.
And the best part about it, I did that, so obviously, for the situation, for my own happiness, for her happiness, for the strengths of our relationship. But the next day, she woke up and she was just like, it really, really did something to her in a positive way. She's just like, I'm grateful for you, but just in every level. And it's like, I think the fact that she voiced that, because in the past, I'll be honest, she voiced that stuff, and then I'd be a little bitch. Well, you're not being very nice to me today. Well, fuck, no shit. You said you're in a bad mood. That's what I should have been thinking, but I was being a bitch, so we had fucking beefs.
I could relate to you. I'm there with you, pal.
And this time, And this time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come from this side of the equation. So we had a great day. It helped her have a great day, and it came back and gave me like the most fulfilling. She had these amazingly kind words. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it right now. Me too. Because I was empathetic, and because I responded rather than reacted to that situation, we basically grew together even more.
We're not talking about rocket science here either, Jon, right? Like we're talking about listening to your partner when they say something to you and saying, well, I got to respect that. They're not in a good way. And so I got to see how they need me to show up for them. When I know how to show up for them, that's what I'm going to do. And then she showers you with gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how little it takes for us to show our partners, like, I hear you, I see you. Let's see what we can do together versus like me versus you. That's powerful shit.
Yeah. It's interesting since we're sharing, I had a situation over the weekend too, where I was a little bit out of sorts on Sunday. And in the past, I probably would have made something out of it, Johnny, Kristina. I probably would have made something out of it. I probably would have turned it into a situation. And it had nothing to do with anybody else except my own mirror. Mm-hmm. Right. But so Lauren was hanging out and I said, I'm kind of out of sorts for today. She goes, is it me? I'm like, no, it's actually not you at all. I says, in the past, I probably would have made it about you. I probably would have turned it into a fight, and I probably would have made it an emotional situation, Jon, Kristina. But I said instead, and I said, I'm going to use what I do on this show every single day and talk about it instead of being a hypocrite about it. I expressed myself to Lauren about how I was feeling. And then I said, just let me kind of manage it throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And I chose that approach, Johnny, like you did, instead of being just an ugly human being. Because in the past, I know I would have reacted. I would have been negative. I would have not been kind, and I would have turned something into nothing. And you know what it was? It's because my brain is telling me stories that don't exist. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. You just basically made the choice. But you made the choice not to be a little bitch, because when it comes down to it, we're really just we're being little bitches when it comes down to this stuff. Because what we need to do is take a deep breath, stand up, and respond to the situation with strength, and not play victim and not why me, and just hey. We have more control over this in a good way, just like you did, Keith. You recognized it, and you used some of your mental tools to make sure that you were able to move forward in a positive regard. And another thing too that I wanted to share with because a lot of times, not everybody's this way, but a lot of people operate with a little competitive edge sometimes helps.
Yes.
So like when I was saying with Terry, I was like, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself never to fight with her again.
Yeah.
Because if I don't fight, there will never be a fight. So I'm going to challenge myself. This I can't control her. I'm challenging me to never fight with her again.
So let's go there, because I've been kind of drinking the same coffee lately, because I'm asking myself, why would I want to fight? Like, because again, fuck Anderson, since I've met you, I've been questioning a lot of my decisions. Like, why do I want to put negative energy into something when it doesn't give me any positive benefit? And that's a major influence you've had on me. You, Jon Andersen, that I know even Marty and I have talked to this before, where, we'd kind of rant about negative things, and you're like, wait a minute. Well, why? Let's go turn it into a positive thing.
Let's go the other way.
Right? Because it's so easy to go the other approach. Right. So I like what you said, which is I'm going to own this whole idea of not having a fight with my partner, because you have complete control over that. And if you just take a sense of positive attitude nonstop, there doesn't really need to be a fight. You can communicate, right? Slow it down, have a conversation, choose the words, step out of it, come back to it. Doesn't have to be a fight, or learn how to fight through communicating. Hey, Johnny?
Or if need be, don't communicate at all. Because communicating if it's the wrong way, can actually be what fuels the fight. If one person chooses not to engage in an argument, the argument doesn't exist. So there's so many ways to avoid a fight. It's like, how do you respond in that moment?
Yeah.
And so obviously if the relationship will allow some conversation that will nurture the situation, perfect. There are times when Terry will tell me, it's best if I don't talk right now. Well, the old me would have forced her to talk. Well, now, take your time, baby.
Johnny, we're drinking the same Kool-Aid, brother. We absolutely are. And I'm blessed that I get a chance to hang out with you daily to keep teaching myself things, and perhaps it's reciprocal. And I'm seeing the words from Dugan, and I see Lauren's comments here as well. No, Lauren, we're not going to say that next time I'm going through my shit. But I like this, because we're talking about empathy, but every relationship starts with empathy. And if we can think about how the other person's feeling, magic can happen, right? It really does. Kristina, some final comments from you. I know we did not. Jimmy, I know Reloaded went off the fucking segment. I had a whole list of topics to get into. I know Flinner, we had a center stage topic to get into, but as the host, I was like, no, we're going to keep going here and lean into this.
We got to lean into these conversations.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when we've got lightning in a bottle, you don't walk away from it.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I got Jimmy here saying, Johnny, we boys don't win in their wives, or else you can't help our wives live longer. Yes, nation. If you got something you need to do today, go help your wife live a day longer. Yeah, true story. And honey, if you want to go let your husband live a day longer, well, you can read the other side of the book there as well. So,
hey, you got to take a look at Lauren's comment, brother.
Yes.
I think I may have given her some ammunition.
I know. I think I'm going to have to hear about it there, Johnny. That's why I'm like, all right, really? Right? So I might hear about it sometime when I'm going to record the conversation and play it back for you, Anderson. All right. You're hanging out with Keith, Jon, and Kristina Flynn, and producer Jimmy on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends here. We're going to work towards wrapping up the segment here and go towards Community Corner. Johnny's got to get on with his day. But Johnny, question for you, brother. How was golf yesterday, man? How did it go? How was the ground beef in the pocket? How was the cigar? How was the game?
Oh, man, a couple of great cigars. So one of the dudes I was playing with, he's good. And so what we did was to make it more challenging. The guy that we were in the, there was four of us, right?
Okay.
And so the dude in my cart, we like, okay, we're going to play best ball just so we can hopefully give a challenge to the fucking good golfer. And it still wasn't even close. But it was fun. The golf is this for me.
Yeah.
You just need one shot. You feel it. It's like,
yes,
boom. It's like, God, that felt, I just need one of those to make me want to play again. I had like 3, so I was fucking happy. I put one of them on my story if you want to check it out. The videographer, he's just fucking filming everything. I hit that thing and he could tell my reaction. So he walked right up and I couldn't help but to talk to the camera about how good it felt.
Golf frustrates me, man, because you just got to put so much time in to be good at it, and then then you get out there and you're not good at it. It's like, oh, really? Right? So it's just one of those things. So good on you, Anderson.
Well, the thing I love about golf is that I suck too. There's no question about it. But in those moments where you're frustrated and you're like, fuck, I'm just going to go hit it. No, don't go hit it. Take a deep breath, focus, and do it the best you can. Because at some point, for me, once I get over 100 shots, I just start I'm like, might as well have a fucking machete in my hand, And so the challenge is to, okay, no, I'm not just going to whack it. I'm going to focus. I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to do my best. So that mental angle of staying in the game when you've kind of mentally want to give up, that's, for me, I love that element of the game, But check this out. Tomorrow, I'll be back in my studio at home, so we don't have to worry about this crappy internet connection. So.
Nice. All right, Johnny. Well, listen, we're getting to the community corner segment of the show. I know you got to rock and roll as well here, so we're going to get you out of here. And Jimmy, we're going to pivot to community corner and get to the creator spotlight. Johnny, good show today. Good discussion. What hung out there for you today? Adam, AJ, empathy, vote. What's one thing from Jon Andersen today to give to Business Athlete Nation before we say goodbye, brother?
I think AJ was good today. It was just, he explains things in a way that I think it resonates with me.
Yes.
So, I mean, every time he comes on the show, there's just massive nuggets. So I like the idea of having him on for, a full show sometime. Yeah,
I agree. We definitely want to get him on. And I've had people coming to me saying, hey, I want to get to know AJ a little more. So I think we got to bring AJ on and to do that. What about you, Senator? What stood out for you today?
I think for me, it's really like this idea of empathy is actually a skill. I don't think a lot of us realize that. Yeah. It seems like you either have it or you don't. And I think that's something I, to be honest, because empathy has always been very innate to me. You were the first person that said to me, Keith, like, it's not, I had to learn it. And I didn't know that was something, which is really encouraging to me because it means, cool, if this is a skill, then I can learn it and I can get better at it and I can increase my capacity, which means that everyone is capable of it. So it's not an all or nothing. You can get better. You have to put in the work, yes, but it is a skill that you can, of course, benefit from by actually putting the work in.
Yeah.
We practice, baby. We practice. We get better when we practice. I love it, Kristina. Yeah. That's fucking perfect.
The problem is,
and John's point about if you do not heal for your kids, they will have to heal from you. Oh. That to me, I went like, woo, in my basement. I was like, that is fucking fire. It hit me real hard to my core, Jon, because there's a lot of things about myself that I suspect my son's too young to know, but I think my daughter has my brain. And I think about every day, if I don't figure this shit out, if I don't heal from this, she will have to deal with it and I won't be there to support her. And that's not what I want. So thank you for that.
That makes me so happy to hear that it affected you that way, because goodness gracious, I would say affect one person, but to have it be you makes it 100,000 times more special to me. So thank you.
It's awesome. Big time. I learn from you about my kids every day. So I appreciate you.
Powerful stuff. Jon Andersen and Kristina Flynn. Johnny, go get after it today, brother. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay.
You got it.
All right.
Have a great day, guys.
Take care, Johnny. All right, there goes Johnny. He's out for the day here today. Back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time for obviously Mornings Alive. Myself, Kristina, Marty, Jon, and tomorrow Rich Ingram's joining us as well. But right now, Jimmy, we're going to move to the community corner. And yes, Felix, the last half an hour is a little messed up for the cutting, but that's okay. We'll figure it all out. It's all good. Today we are going to feature a personal style consultant. This creator, who we're going to celebrate, helps men elevate their style to match their growth, focusing on business owners and mid-career professionals. A champion of confidence through fashion with a practical approach. Now, this human guides clients to look professional, approachable, and true to themselves. The founder of It Suits You. I think that my words are incorrect here, but that's okay. This human helps men identify their current style, plan for the future, and build a wardrobe that reflects their goals. Yeah, it's true. Today's Creator Spotlight, not joining us, but is all the way from Chicago, Illinois, for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, is Shlomo Homnick, I think it is. Good morning, Shlomo. We are proud and excited to celebrate you today. If you are a man who wants to dress better, you got to read Shlomo's About section. Why are we celebrating Shlomo today on Mornings in the Lab? Kristina Flynn.
Well, Shlomo was brought to my attention, and immediately, I don't know if you'll remember this movie, but immediately I thought of the movie Hitch with Will Smith. I know he's canceled, but Will Smith. And I think that this is a really worthwhile approach to things, because I do think that there's a lot of men out there that fashion or style or it just has never been that much of a focus for them. And we know this. When you dress for the opportunity, you hold yourself differently. You act with confidence. You look very different. You approach things very differently. And I have not seen anyone online that is doing this kind of work. And I think for our audience, it's a different approach to things. Like we talk about this holistic transformation. And I do think there's a big appeal to like this part of it. Yes, it is about the physical. We acknowledge the fact that sometimes transformation happens in the physical. And when you put the work in, if, for example, our League 100 days, 100 hours, 10 men, one big goal, at the end of that, your shit's not going to fit the same. You're not going to be wanting to wear the same clothes. True. You are going to want to show up differently because you're going to want to carry yourself differently. And this is something that's so seemingly unimportant and is often it's often ignored in the conversation. And I think it's a really valuable thing that Shlomo's bringing to people, which I really appreciate.
Fuck, Kristina, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it with this fellow because... And
I know you love fashion. You love fashion.
I love this for a lot of reasons. And let me tell you why. Because we love how we start the day in our philosophy of hitting the gym. Mm-hmm. Well, if you start your day in the gym, you're probably going to exit the gym with some confidence. Shoulders out, chest out. Oh, you're going to walk into your closet. You're going to put a nice clothes on. Your shirt, your jeans, your suit, whatever. Then you're going to walk into your meeting and you're probably going to feel good about yourself. Yeah. So, if you, and listen, you go put yourself a nice pair of jeans or a nice t-shirt. And we talked about it last week, Kristina, with Jon and Marty in the gym. Sometimes you don't got to put the $10,000, $50,000 Tom Ford suit on. No, actually. Yeah. Go spend some time in the gym, eat good, healthy food. And you could show up in a situation with a nice pair of pants, a nice t-shirt, and maybe a jacket and look like a gazillion bucks. But Shlomo starts it. Right. So I like that. I like that you called it out because it is something that we often forget about. And I really like the fact that you called it the League 100, because I guarantee you, man, you join this program, you are going to look different, feel different. Your clothes are going to feel different. It's
you
just
want your closet to match, like Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, like Stacey and Clinton. We've talked about this before. People want to be like, oh, whatever. It's so superficial. It's not superficial. Because we're not saying it needs to be a $10,000 Tom Ford suit. We're saying that you are going to want to carry yourself differently. And the last thing you want to do is look at your closet and say, this is the same old shit that got me in the situation that I didn't want to be in. And I think straight up, I didn't even find Shlomo. Shlomo was brought to us by Melissa, our team member. So I want to give shout outs to her there. But this is really important stuff. It doesn't have to be expensive, but you want to feel good. And when I think about my lowest times in my life, I was walking around in shitty sweats all the time. I was showing up to my kids' school being like, I don't give a fuck what I look like. And people just have to deal with it. But meanwhile, if I think about that moment, when I wasn't getting dressed for work because I work at home, now I get dressed for work because I want to show up differently for myself. Now I want to present myself differently because I feel confident inside and I want that to radiate outwards as well. So I think this is critical stuff.
I love it. And I reflect as we wrap this segment up, Kristina. I had a fellow on Live in the Lab with Keith Bilous last year, and he was struggling with starting his business as an entrepreneur, and he was looking for confidence. He hired a personal trainer. Because he felt that when he left the gym, his shoulders felt further out and his chest felt further out. And Kristina, he was not Jon Andersen. Like he was a little fellow. Like you wouldn't even, but it's like, Keith, I felt bigger. I walked into a conference
taller.
That's exactly what he said. He goes, Keith, I have found myself walking into meetings with my shoulders out and my chest out. And he laughs because he did it on the show. He's like, and I'm not and he's just a little fellow. He's, he's a little petite fellow, but he's like, and the key was felt. We're talking empathy today. I felt stronger. I felt more confident. And I love that. And that's what Shlomo's doing for the audience, right?
And here's the thing that's interesting. Like if Shlomo came out and he told people he was selling confidence, no one would buy. And I know that firsthand because the stuff that I lean into in my work, I never used to call it personal branding. I used to call it discovering your personal story and gaining confidence. And it didn't fucking sell. Because people sometimes don't even know what they need. Yes, I'm selling confidence by understanding who you are and your origin story and all of that, how it contributes to who you are now. That's confidence. But people don't buy confidence. They need something tangible to it. And I love that Shlomo's saying, like, I'll give you something tangible. I'm going to rework your wardrobe. And that's going to give you confidence. And if that's what we need to get that step forward, dope. Let's do it.
Yeah, I like that. Shlomo, come hang out with us in the lab. Come bring a new wardrobe. Let's come celebrate somebody in your orbit for the Community Corner Creator Spotlight. So, Melissa, thanks for putting that one on the table. Kristina, thanks for putting it out there. And the not obvious one, but I like that. I like that a lot. So, all right, let's go. Let's work towards wrapping the show up here. We'll do a little segment on business and branding. Jimmy, we're not going to send it to the full. We're not going to send it to the top here, but we're going to dig into it because I know that we have a topic we have had on the table for a week now, but it keeps being shuffled around.
I don't even know if it's worth chatting about. I'm like, I don't even know if this is good, but you know what? The way that Keith and I talked, it'll evolve into what it'll evolve.
Let's get into it. We want to talk about the foundation of your business. So, and actually it's good timing today because I know I'm in leveling up mode. It's time to level up. Right. Adam talked about leveling up and, as a visionary, and I really was tuning into what Adam was saying because I can relate to it. He's like, yeah, I can see way over there right now because I can too. And to those that can't, you're trying to find a way to help.
It's a feeling that it's really hard to describe to other people. When you're not in it, but you can't always articulate when you have met it. But you're like, I just know. I know that this is the right place. I know that this is the right move.
It's true because, and Adam said it. I was talking with Adam about it yesterday, and it's true because, there's this, and it's hard to even describe the skill, if I can even call it that, but it's seeing further out and then trying to get your colleagues to see there as well. And get them there. But it starts with the foundation of your business, right? And most entrepreneurs, in my experience anyways, are building on quicksand, right? Wondering why everything just keeps sinking. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's exactly what's going to happen. So in my experience as an entrepreneur, it's constant iteration. And you heard Adam earlier, last year was just test, iterate, right? But let's get down, Kristina, into the 5 foundations most businesses are missing and why perhaps it's killing their growth. And I loved your first one. Number 1, stop playing business. And I'll add to it. As kids, we grow up, we play house, we play business. Gentlemen, men, you're starting your business today. It's not a hobby. No, stop treating it like a hobby. You might treat it like a hobby for a while because you're figuring shit out, but there comes a point where the light goes on. It's like, okay, nope, bing, bing, bing. Hobby's done. It's time to make it a business. Let's talk about this idea of stop playing business, Kristina Flynn. When you hear this, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think the direction that I want to take this is there's a lot of people that are entrepreneurs that don't have business degrees.
Yes.
I'm one of them. Right. And so when I got into business, I had a lot of preconceived notions as to what business was. And really, when I thought about me as an entrepreneur, I looked at the visionary, which is what I am. And I would find the team to do a lot of like the executing, not realizing like that comes in time. But in the beginning, it's you. And you have to figure all of that shit out. So not having any business acumen, not really having any financial acumen, it really hurt me because I kept trying to hit these grand slams, thinking that then I would have the financial resources to bring in the people I need. So I, in my opinion, was starting backwards. And I don't think that it's that uncommon for people that are like, I know I can think big. And if we just convince the right people to buy into this actual solution, then I'll get the resources I need, and then I'll be able to start the foundation. So that's the direction I wanted to go with you for this one in particular, which is, yes, you need to have the vision, but also it doesn't matter because if you nail that vision and things start moving really fucking quickly, which sometimes they do, you will collapse under the weight of that vision because you don't have the strong foundations that you need from a business perspective to be able to build. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Continue to elaborate on your question.
I want to go into like the tangible business things.
Yeah.
So I'm starting out I want to do big things. Do I do an LLC? Do I become a sole proprietor? Do I get the bank account right away? Do I not get the bank account right away? Like things that really set you up. And at what point in time is the right time to be doing those? And what point in time is premature?
I love this question. Here's the answer. Go sell something first.
Great.
And that's it. So anybody tuning in right now, stop going to your lawyer. Stop setting up your LLC. Stop setting up a company. Stop doing all of the administrative stuff. All that you're benefiting is your lawyer, your accountant, everybody else except for yourself. Stop. Go and sell something. Yeah, but Keith, I don't have Stripe set up. I don't care. Go sell something. Because you can add it to Stripe later. You can take credit card. You can take a check later. Go and convince somebody to say, here's my wallet. I want to buy from you. Yeah, but I don't have the foundation set up. I don't care, actually. Because if you can solve the problem for one person, you'll solve it again. Stop setting up the LLC. Stop setting up the company. Stop fucking finding your logo. Stop creating the name of the company. Stop building the business plan. Either test, iterate, and sell, but don't do anything else. Stop. Stop. That's the first thing. There is no foundation. The foundation of business is selling something first, solving a problem. And then everything else will happen. Go to your lawyer. 100%. I'm going to tell you something.
I agree with you. But
something.
You go first. You're excited.
Back when I was at ICUC, I'll never forget this conversation. We were working with a company out of Europe, a company called Spinvox. Back in the days, nation, when BlackBerry went, I'm going to date myself. You were able to get voicemails as a text message. Like, oh, really? Yes, we leave your voicemail come as a text message. Well, that
was a money move, though. People needed that.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, they had this technology platform that they disguised. It was actually human beings. So they were selling the world that it was actually tech doing it all, but they had a bunch of low-cost labor in Greece doing it all.
Okay.
I remember the call. Hey, Keith, can you guys moderate it multiple languages for this client? Yes. I just kept saying yes, 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 yes. They were going to pay us $35,000 a month, US. I had no bank account set up. Had no company set up. Had no structure set up. Had no shareholders agreement set up. I had nothing set up. I said, yes, I can do it. Then they sent me a check. After we started doing it, I gave them a contract. We sent them a check. The check sat in my truck for 2 months before we could cash it because we had to go get everything set up. That's it. There's no rocket science there. They're like, we have a problem. I can solve it. Okay, great. I didn't go to the lawyer first. I didn't go set up a company. I didn't go and patent my idea and go, oh, I got this idea. Someone's going to steal it. Really? No, I just went and solved the fucking problem. That's it. That's it. Flynn, you're muted.
Fucking fun.
Go ahead.
Here's the key difference that I'll make, though, and I want to dive into this.
Yes.
Old me,
yes,
would have said, "I'll go sell something."
Yes,
but I would have gone to sell the company idea.
Yes,
I would have gone to sell this concept. Versus what you've done there and what you've described there is go find the tangible tactical problem that you are selling and sell that to somebody. And there's a big difference there. And I think that some 100%. People in our audience, like I was, might be confused by that. So talk to me about the differences there.
Solve a problem, provide a solution. So for example, this show, the problem that I believe it's confirming for me every single day, we're solving an accountability problem. And we're helping solve perhaps a loneliness problem for men. We're giving a place for men to hang out, right? But we're solving a problem of accountability. There's men that are tuning in every single day going, I'm having struggles being accountable, but I know that Keith's there and Jon's there and Marty's there and Kristina's there, and they're going to help me be accountable. There's a problem being solved there. In the Spinvox case, they needed somebody to dot the I's and cross T's. We did it. So any entrepreneur, go and solve a problem and just do it again. There's your business, period. See ya, show's over. The problem I have, Flynn, is that I like to build big. Like even Maurice, like, Keith, just go and fucking.
A lot of entrepreneurs like to build big. It's not just you.
Right. But Maurice, like, just go and go and sell this. No, I don't want to just go sell. I want to do something bigger than that. I want to go change the world, right? So that's the balance. There's no question.
That's what I think is like the key difference between what you're talking about of selling a service or selling a product and selling a vision for something that's going to change the world, which as entrepreneurs, we tend to go there. It's not to say that vision of changing the world isn't of value, but that as the thing you're going to sell is not going to make you money.
Solve the problem.
Not right away.
You got to solve a problem. You need to solve a problem and then repeat it. Right. And I know that's so cliche and simple, but that really is all that it is. Right. So if you can solve a problem and do it repeatable, you got yourself a nice little business. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you can worry about the foundation. Because in my experience, humans are really forgiving. Let's do a role play. Hey, Kristina, we did some business, but you know what? Fuck, man. I know you paid me. I got to admit to you, man, I already have my bank account set up first. Oh, I don't care. You solved my problem. Because you actually don't care. I solved your problem.
Yeah. They don't care.
They don't care. They don't care what your logo looks like. They don't care that you spent $5,000 getting your LLC set up. They don't care. Nobody cares.
No.
All they're caring about their own interests. Just solve my problem and I'll give you money. Let's go to number 2.
Here's the direction. Wait, but before that, because I'll pick this all up. Here's the direction that I've also gotten myself caught up in. So you go and you solve the problem and you got this idea of how you're going to change things. And that first client is a very big client.
Yes.
And they're going to give you money, which is great. So you get that part sorted. That's wonderful. But what happens sometimes, and what happened to me and my business, was I actually ended up becoming a de facto agency for this first client, because then all of a sudden I was doing everything they needed because I thought there was scope creep all over. I just became an agency.
Yes.
And I was like, what the fuck happened to my business and selling this and helping other people with this problem? Talk to me about that situation.
That can happen. Scope creep's the worst thing that happens. And I know it happened much in my old world at ICUC where scope creep happens. Now you can turn it into a positive though, right? Like, okay, I keep solving problems. Oh, I keep solving problems. Oh, I woke up thinking I was starting that company over there, but I'm actually solving a bunch of problems over here. Look at my bank account. It's not a bad thing. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a bad thing. If you can there's a lot of entrepreneurs that can't even find a problem to solve. So if you happen to stumble into a company where you're solving one problem and then solving the second one, solving the third one, you might have yourself a good little business there, and you might need to put your ego aside and say, oh, wait a minute. The vision I was creating, like I was creating Captive Interactive. And then all of a sudden I recognized that during that process that I was solving a problem that it was not sexy. You mean I got to build a business by sitting in a fucking box I'll never forget the conversation with Maurice. We had a chat with Much Music, big MTV here in Canada. And they said to us, we just consider you guys the box in the basement. As long as it's working, we're fine cutting you a check.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I make good margins on that check. I don't need to be flashy. I don't need to be out and everywhere. Okay, I'll accept that. I'll be the box in the basement. Next. Mm-hmm. And so I went in with this big, I'm going to go and do this. Like, no, we just want you to do this. Okay. So I guess the point is that if that's the role you end up playing, and I love how Marty says, find your role as a basketball player and then go be the best at that role. So in your case, if they're like, yeah, I want you to be an agency, then you have to ask yourself is, well, hey, I'm making good money at it. I'm building a business out of it. I keep solving problems. Maybe during my journey, I can add in these extra things or maybe not. I don't know.
So here's where it fucked us.
Yes.
We got the big client.
Tell me.
We ended up kind of becoming an agency.
Yes.
Didn't have the foundations. And we were building a technology product, which means we needed handshake deals because I knew people. And not having those foundations from a legal perspective is eventually what got us in trouble, because we handshake deal on it's my tech, not yours. And then they decided it was theirs. And then they had the resources as a big company to just take me to legal and my team to legal. And that's it. It's just say, cool, we're going to bleed you out. You won't be able to do this. You can't keep lawyers for long enough. So there's this like constant, it's like, don't build the foundations. I know now that once I got that check, then we needed to do all those things.
Yes.
We needed to build all those foundations. We needed to, handshake deals are great initially. Then you got to really get that shit down on paper. So that's the balance there of like, it isn't all or nothing. You have to look at the situation. And you have to ultimately, when you're working also with a very big client that has more financial resources than you, handshake deals don't work. And if you get that check, you need to put legal agreements in place.
I often don't know if getting the big client is off is
I would never do it again.
I was just gonna say might not necessarily the best thing. I remember having a big client back when we were growing ICUC. We were in a meeting with them and they were negotiating the contract with me, and they said, "Oh, hey," and it was our big public broadcaster here in this country, Kristina, the CBC. Yeah, I'll mention it. And they're like, "Oh, hey, but we can put your logo on the website." I said, "Yeah, it's great. The logo doesn't pay my visa."
Yeah.
Right.
But a lot of big brands will do that. A lot of big brands will say,
yes,
I'll give you this first one.
Yes.
And you use my brand, then you leverage my brand. I'll pay you less. You put in more work, and you leverage my brand to get other people. But what you don't realize is that that brand is really hard to work for. There's a lot of layers and a lot of bureaucracy you have to work around. And all of a sudden you become the agency because you just need money because you have no other time to sell the product that you wanted to sell anyway. So you can't leverage them because there's no time. You're a small team.
I find that's quite common in, what's the word I'm looking for vanity businesses, entrepreneurs that start out wanting to go work with the Toronto Maple Leafs, or the Toronto Raptors, or the sports industry, these high profile, glamorous businesses. And then you land them, and then you're like, oh, they're actually a pain in the ass. They don't want to pay me a lot of money. No, true story. Go find a small, medium-sized business, go solve their problems over and over and over, and then graduate over there. Yeah, I get it. You want the big dog for the vanity metrics. You want the big dog to help move the needle forward. But as Kristina said, in my experience, those big dogs will hold you back too. And they will probably not be profitable over time.
They won't be profitable over time. And to me, it's kind of like the equivalent of prioritizing the brand for your own company. That leveraging of that brand is never going to come close to solving the problems like you've said. You will be able to continue conversations. You'll be able to leverage the fact that you've solved problems for a company. Who you've solved it for matters less, quite frankly.
Yes. Yeah. True story. 100% true story. Let's keep rolling through this, Kristina. Good conversation, and I want to wrap it up here in a couple of minutes, but let's keep rolling with it. So let's talk about there's a few other things: growth killers, systems that scale, revenue engine, and then exit. Where do you want to go with it next in terms of building a foundation of business, Kristina Flynn?
I think I want to do systems because I think it's something that you're quite good at, and you look at it from an interesting perspective. I think when a lot of people think systems and they think, I got to go buy a system. I got to go find a system from this person because they have my answer. And obviously they think that because that's how people market themselves, right? It's the exact purpose why for League 100, we're not saying you get a system. We're saying we're going to teach you a lot of shit and you're going to build your own system. So tell and talk to me a little bit about how you look at from the very early stages of business building. What are the types of things that you say, great, I know you look at it like this, like I need to learn how to do this thing and I need to learn how to do it really well. And then I need to build a system around that. What is your perspective on that? How do you approach it?
Great question. I like to use the pizza restaurant metaphor because I think everybody can relate to it. Right. I feel in business, we overcomplicate things. It's big tech, big AI, and layers and layers and layers of process. No, go buy a pizza restaurant, go make a pizza. And you're going to say, well, so what do you mean by that, Keith? Well, what does it take to make a pizza? The dough, how do you want to put the sauce on it? How do you want to make the crust? Like all those things that go, and they seem very innocuous and very like basic, but it's not. Right. So from my point of view as an entrepreneur, you got to go into the kitchen and make the pizza. Learn how to make the pizza how you want the pizza made. How do you want the peppers put on the pizza? How do you want the pizza cut? And then once you've figured all that out, then go sell it to somebody. Or if not sell it to somebody, teach to somebody else inside of your house, right? So that you can go and repeat that. But that to me is about building a system, which is just is taking something really basic. And that's what I love about Elon, man. You know, again, love him or hate him, let's put all politics aside. You know, he goes into every part of his business and learns how to do it, empowers the owner of that system, and then leaves it. But Elon himself, he's like, I'm going to go learn how to build this part of the car. I got respect for that, man. I got nothing but respect for that because that's what you have to do. I don't think enough entrepreneurs do that, Kristina Flynn.
And I think
hold on, one last thing. There's been this debate recently in the last 6 weeks or so. I think you might have seen it or not, and Brian Chesky from Airbnb brought it up. But there's been this mind shift of, was it the founder's code? Like the founder's got to be in. You can't just bring a bunch of people delegate. No, man, I gotta know how the fucking pizza works before I can give it to Kristina to say, okay, Kristina, here's how the pizza has to go.
Yeah. It's an interesting balance. I think that we've seen it happen with a lot of VC funded tech companies, right? That it's all about the founder and their vision and their brand and like build around that, and they'll delegate the rest. That's not sustainable though at all, because if you have this like disconnect between your team and what you're actually doing, and then trying to sell them day to day on the vision behind that, but not really understanding, not being empathetic, quite frankly, to that day to day, you're going to have a disconnect that you're not going to be able to fill those gaps. So yes, I'm full believer. Is it annoying sometimes to the rest of your team? Yeah, it is. Do you care about things that they don't care about? Yeah. But that's why you're the founder. Well, I'll never forget. I don't know why, but I never forget. I watched the documentary on ASAP Rocky, and they talked about he has this like monotony to the way that he looks at his show, and he's obsessive over it. Like you can end a show and the rest of his team, the rest of his crew, like that was awesome. And he's going to tell you the 10, 15 different things to be like not acceptable, because he's like, this is me. Like, this is my jam. This is my name behind this. We are building together and I want to do it with you. But this shit needs to be sorted. And that's not always comfortable for a lot of entrepreneurs. But I love it's kind of looking at entrepreneurialism like what we talk about. It's like artistry. It's creativity. It's saying like we're creating something together. I'm the primary artist here. It exists in my brain, and I'm going to do everything I can to bring it to fruition. But because it exists in my brain, I'm going to know a lot of minutia and bullshit around it that you think is bullshit, but I know it's important.
Yes. Wayne, I see you there, Wayne. I like canned mushrooms over fresh, by the way, but I don't mind either or.
Oh, I grew up on canned, but I can't go back.
And is it ASAP Rocky or ASAP Rocky? We're talking business and branding with Keith, Kristina. So here's something that I'll throw you, because we're talking about internally right now and building our business together. Yeah. We've been talking this morning around like the thumbnail design, right? Oh. And I love how you brought it back to ASAP Rocky, and he's like, these little fine details. So again, I'll take you into my brain from our conversation this morning. When I'm looking at our conversation with our thumbs, like I'm thinking it's December 1st.
Mm-hmm.
What's November 5th? I'm like, no, it's December 1st. Because if we're not talking about it today, it's not going to happen by December 1st. And that to me is what I don't think enough entrepreneurs think about. So, working on things, and I got up this morning and I was analyzing and looking at data, and I'm like, okay, I as a leader, I feel like I'm operating at a different level right now. I'm kind of up the game here. It's like the LeBron. It's now time to elevate the rest of the game. And it's okay, guys. We've gotten a little bit complacent with this. And to me, it's like when you're on a winning streak, everything's fine, right? Like, oh, we're fucking winning.
Always. But
then there's the coach in the back room going, why is that guy ornery right now? We're fucking winning, coach. No, we're not. Like, look behind the scenes, man. The data's not here, because we're not going to be winning by December 15th if we're not fixing the things on November 5th. That to me is an exceptional leader that can see way over there and brings the team together and says, hey man, I know the foundation appears to be strong, but I think there's some cracks here. What do you mean, Keith? No, but I think because I see this. That to me is, I think, a skill for a leader, as an entrepreneur, or even the foundation of a business. Do you follow me?
Yeah, and it's in the fine details.
Yes.
And team members on the other side of that, it's like, could I look at that and be like, we're not being complacent. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Or could I say, yeah.
Right.
So understood. Let's move forward. Let's change this up. And it's not to say you're surrounding yourself with a bunch of yes people, but it's like, where are you going to focus your effort and energy? If there's big conceptual things that I think we're missing or we're not seeing, I'm going to bring those to the table. If there's things like this that are built in the minutia and the detail, that detail world is yours. So we make the shifts, we make the changes, and we move along.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And that's the goal of an entrepreneur. That's the role of an entrepreneur. Be empathetic, be a leader, and move the business forward, just like we do every single day here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Wayne, I see you. Thanks for joining in the show today. Good time. Jack Dugan, Shelly, Lauren, everybody who joined us today. I appreciate all of you guys here in the lab. Jimmy, I know the show was... it was the show with a bunch of different, and Felix, you're going to have some fun cutting it up later, but that's the whole point of our show, to create interesting, entertaining, and fun content to help men get out of bed and help achieve those big, audacious goals. Jack, I appreciate you. Wayne, appreciate you as well. Flynn, let's go rock and roll out of here and get on with our day today.
Okay.
Let's do it. Tomorrow we have in the lab, it's Wednesday. We got Ingram joining us tomorrow, and I think we have Daniel Brennan joining us tomorrow.
Brennan, yes.
We celebrated Daniel last week on the Creator Spot. I know Daniel's got listen, we know Daniel's a video guy. He's got energy, his enthusiasm. I'm suspecting tomorrow's going to be a fun show. Not to set anybody's expectations or not.
Set him.
It's going to be a fun show tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Myself, Flynn. And hey, listen, one last thing, nation. If you're in the United States today, go and exercise your ability to vote. If you're not going to vote, you can't bitch. I'm telling you right now. You can't say anything if you're not going to vote. I don't care how you vote. I really don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. Go vote. Be empathetic. Be kind to the human next to you. You don't know what they're going through. And like I said yesterday, don't get caught up on policy. Get caught up in the human. That's how I'll leave you guys today. Have a good one, nation. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Go vote. See you guys. Jimmy, let's get out of here.